2022. This is the Love and Freedom Show. I'm your host, Kyle Kemper, along with my co-host,
Sunny Ray.
Sunny Ray. And today we have a very special guest, too. I'd like to introduce Amina Matala. Welcome, Amina.
Thank you. Thank you both. Such a pleasure to meet you, Sunny Ray.
Pleasure.
Great to be here.
And guess what? We also, in the studio as well, is Pat King. Pat, can you hear us? Can we hear you? Can't hear your audio quite yet. You got to go to settings, audio input.
We are live.
And we are live, and this is Restream, is the software we're using for anybody who's interested. Restream is a public broadcasting software that allows you to go live across multiple different channels. Right now, I'm live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Sunny, what are you live on?
Oh my goodness, 7 different platforms right now. I think if it's all working, we'll see afterwards. But Twitter,
So yeah,
as well.
and we're doing a part 2. So yesterday, Kyle, Pat, and I did an interview on my channel.
Still can't hear you, Pat. But
no. Okay.
Let's we'll just troubleshoot
Pat,
this.
There's a settings button. It looks like a gear right under your face. If you click on that, there's a button called audio on the left side, and then you should be able to select a different mic, or you might want to try a couple different ways.
How about now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, baby. Man, welcome to have you. Hey, Pat, right off the bat, nothing but respect for you. Been following your work for months now. I was born and raised in Alberta, even though I don't look like it. And we nothing but love for you. So welcome.
I was just saying we did a part 1 yesterday interview with Kyle and Pat. They met for the first time. So we're here today. We're joining to continue the discussion.
Awesome.
And Sunny Ray is joined in with us as well.
So how do I share this to my page?
Perfect question. So on the top, it says add channels, right above, and then click that. You're probably gonna need to set up a Restream account and just to connect that. This is a very important step to do, because once you set them up once, they're set up forever. And I really believe that this is one of the most powerful streaming platforms out there right now.
Okay.
So yeah, take your time with that.
Cool.
Anybody's watching, feel free to just chill.
While Patrick gets all set up there, do you want to maybe introduce everyone to Amina and maybe get the conversation going with her?
Yeah, so I mean, I've known Amina for years now from Ottawa, from the Bitcoin scene, and we had a very strong kind of energetic connection right out the gates, and we have been keeping in touch, furthering the kind of the cause of decentralization in crypto, but also freedom and liberty, and since the very early days of this pandemic. Amina and I have been discussing it, and trying to figure out what the path forward is, or understanding kind of our perspective a little bit better. Amina, I don't know, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? And
hey, Pat.
Yeah, sure.
You're
one. I think I got it.
You got one. If you want to do others, feel free to. So this works with Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all of it.
Awesome.
Continue.
Yeah, no. So I just, like Kyle was saying, I started out in the crypto space, probably learning about it 2011, 2012, and then got involved. Wow. Did a meetup. Didn't get into it until 2017, but started a meetup bi-weekly in Ottawa for over a year. Then got very involved in the space, and I got to know Kyle, of course. Did a lot of work with him throughout the times, and then of course with Corona coming in, we jumped on the freedom train, and always was on the freedom train, but a bigger reason to be on it. And then Pat got on my path when I was doing the private prosecution with Norman Traversy back in 2020, and it's just been ongoing. And here we are today. So,
all right, it looks like, Pat, your things are live. Messages are flooding in, so probably gonna have to move that to the side.
Oh,
so
my
that
goodness.
I say stay focused and not get distracted.
The chat is blowing up. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my lord. Okay, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna try and find the go-ins here.
All right, so Pat, why don't you tell us what's going on? What's the latest and greatest? What's happening in Ottawa?
Well, right now there's a press conference about to be released. We were just up at the command center. We've got some really big details about to come out, and yeah, it's things are coming together good. Truckers are happy, horns are blowing,
Nice.
the snow's melting, and it's going to be a wild weekend. We got some events planned for Saturday, some hockey on the streets. We're going to play a big shinny tournament. We've got a dance party and fireworks show Saturday night.
Woohoo.
And a lot of festivities coming down. We're encouraging everybody to come from far and wide.
I may have to fly back just for that. Oh my God.
Come from far. I know, Sonny, you're heading down, right?
Wait, Pat, are you talking about Ottawa?
So
yes, I was there last weekend. I took my family out there.
I do have a
boy, was it
question.
fun. Huh?
I do. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm from Ottawa, but I'm not there right now, and I'm watching from afar, and it's just it's amazing watching from here. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly say this top of the chat, because I don't know if you know Pat or Kyle or Sonny, but today on the Hill at 1:30, what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. There's a lady.
Are we really going to bring this up?
Okay, don't bring it up.
Not even,
right.
I would suggest
Done.
we don't even give it energy.
No.
Perfect. That answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, because understand, like, you know, within this whole space, there's a lot of, like, you know, there's also disinformation, misinformation, baiting, and, you know, I think one of the purposes of is this is more than egos. This isn't the Pat King convoy. This isn't the whoever. This isn't the conservative movement. This is literally about freedom and liberty and unity, and people coming together through radical self-expression, inclusion, communal effort, participation to, you know, rethink and raise the vibration. Because for the last 2 years, you know, a lot of Canadians have been suppressed and hypnotized into this fear-driven state where, you know, our you know, humanity has been like lost and dehumanized, and demoralization has been like, you know, has been just all over the charts. So now there's this opportunity, and the convoy and what's going on in Ottawa is a symbol of unity. And like Pat said, like, come on out, come down to Ottawa, bring gifts, bring costumes, bring speakers, bring your hockey sticks, bring your skates, go skating on the canal, bring your flags, bring your signs. But just remember, like, you know, keep it positive, keep it, you know, keep it positive, be gentle. Like, you know, this is non-violent. This is about, you know, about like action and unity, and not about, you know, division and hate and, you know, vulgarity. So Pat, tell us a little bit more about, like, you know, like behind the scenes. Like, I mean, there's a lot going on here. Can you just shed a little bit of light into, like, you know, did this all just start 2 weeks ago, or how long has this been kind of, like, you know, cooking up? And I mean,
well, it's been cooking up for a long time. A lot of people have been fed up for a long time with all of the stuff that's going on, and we're, you know, we express what we express, but nobody's listening. So when these truckers started putting out some messages on TikTok, it started to gather some momentum. And I was mentioning my experience with some convoys that we've done to Ottawa in the past. And I said, I'm willing to throw in my 2 cents if you guys want to listen, and, you know, if you guys want to try and pull this off. So we had some meetings, and we had some, you know, some Zoom meetings with each other, and asking how we wanted to do this and what we were going to do to make it work. And next thing you know, I said, well, let's bring everybody onto my program, onto my platform, and let's do an interview and introduce everybody and show everybody how they fit into this. And once we did, it just snowballed, and then here we are today. The momentum that it gathered across Canada, I don't think anybody was prepared for that. But the obvious sign that there is something wrong in this world was shouted very loudly as we were coming across Canada. So that being said, we're down here now. The team up in the other end are working their arses off. You know, they're doing so much damage control. The rumors that are flying, you know, things that people are saying and doing around in the background is, you know, we have to bring out the rumors and kill them before they get any further. So today's meeting was basically, let's put some things to rest. Let's put some fires out. I met with OPS today, this morning, with and a representative for the Algonquin Nation, or Mohawk Nation, sorry, wanting to know what was going on with these teepees and structures that were going up. And we basically put that one out. I got it all recorded. Actually, just got back to our little control base now, and I was going to put that video together and put it up so that people can hear it from the horse's mouth rather than listening to the rumors of what's going on. And yeah, we got interviewed by APTN this morning with regards to the First Nations aspect of this, and just some apologies put out because of some things that were kind of went against protocol, which we knew, which we weren't aware that was going on at the time, but now it's just damage control. Now they're putting out a press conference. All the lawyers are up there. They're doing their thing. And I just walked away because I have nothing to do with any of the money aspect of things. I'm trying to help our guys out wherever I can and wherever needed. And that's where I stand with this. I'm here to support everybody. I'm here to help everybody. But at the same time, I'm also doing a lot of damage control because, well, people just like we live in a society, guys, that for the last 20 to 40 years, we've been living in reality TV shows where you lie, cheat, and steal to get what you want. And a lot of society today is they thrive on the drama. They thrive on the dissension. They thrive on the lies. And we just got to try and, bring ourselves back to the simplicity of just being together and understanding everybody's in this for the same reasons.
Well, exactly. And, kudos for saying that and for doing this. And this is kind of what we're trying to, or what we're doing as well, with having open public discussions and making them available because, as has been said before, the mainstream media is a broken system and it is not going to, it's not going to fix itself. So we need to look at new models that make that existing system obsolete. So with public broadcasting, we have this ability now to, be radically transparent and show to the world, what is happening. I had someone from the mainstream reach out to do an interview, and they want 15 minutes on the phone. And I say, well, look, I'm happy. I'll send you a link to Restream, and you can join, and we can talk. Because I don't want to do a 15-minute interview where you pick the lines that you want, and then it goes to the editorial board and you create some sort of sensational headline. Like, I'm just not going to engage in that. Versus, like, okay, if we actually do this publicly and you're held accountable for your questions and my answers are recorded as well, that makes a lot more sense. And we are in this age of massive information, so let's record and let's share.
That's right.
Hey Kyle, can I just say one thing? I've never seen anything like this, but I'm sorry. I hope Restream doesn't crash on us because there's so many comments. I tried to activate it, but it's like literally moving at the speed of light.
I know. So let's keep them
So I'm
off.
Just keep that away for now. But
yeah,
I'll figure that
keep
out.
them off
because
it's great that they're there and we can go and review them. But
yeah,
and they're cutting in. But just see, there are so many people out there, and one of the things the Convoy has done is has brought people out and given hope from all around. So it's there's many more people that aren't there. Sunny, can you take that off of the screen, please?
Oh, so this what I'm trying to say is, Kyle.
See what happens when you hold the pipe, Pat.
Yeah, Kyle, I'm gonna try. It's just it's literally crashing for me in the background. I'm gonna try and get rid of it.
There you go.
It's gone.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect.
What I'd like to discuss a few things is so out there right now we have convoys going all over Canada. I know that Saturday there's over 200 trucks that are going to Quebec City to go make a presence known at the Quebec legislature grounds, as well as we have groups in Alberta that are down at the Coots Crossing, and they're blocked in by the RCMP down there, and the RCMP is starting to get aggressive with them. And those orders are coming down from the politicians at the present moment. One thing
RCMP is a federal organization too, so they don't report to the provinces. They're reporting at a federal level, and
Yeah.
RCMP has a long history of questionable behavior as well. But within the RCMP, there are lots of incredible, like, people with open hearts who are conscious, and we need, like, to all police officers out there, like, are you going to serve and protect the people and stand up for what it means to be a free Canada, or are you going to become stormtroopers enforcing an empire agenda? Ask yourself that question, like, really reflect on that, because we need, peace officers and people, like safety is critical, and police play a very important role so long as they're, holding to their oaths. But once you start getting into becoming, like, like stormtroopers, I'll just say it. And the mask is a sign of being a stormtrooper. It's about de-identifying you. Be free to be able to show your faces and communicate with people as human beings, because you are all human beings. Now, Pat, on the topic of coots, I mean, I saw that there was like a blockade of the blockade as well. And so it's like, things are getting, like, how many blockade lines are there going to be? And who's prepared to hold out the longest? And ideally, like, this kind of, this can all end, folks. This can all end. All we got to do is, like, is declare that things that all these measures and we get our freedoms back, basically. And speaking of that, Pat, what are like, what is the end goal here?
Nobody's moving until these mandates are done, and that's the truth. All the way across Canada, nobody is moving. The only way they're going to end us all is 100% end them.
All right, and so let's get granular on that. That's no vax passports,
None.
No vax mandates,
None.
No masks,
None.
No mask mandates. Okay, that's a big one. What about quarantine restrictions?
Well, if you're sick, stay home. That's what
if you're sick, stay home. That's what we've always done. And naturally, there's going to be some people that don't do that. But it was never like you go to prison for breaking that.
So okay,
and
I have a point.
I just want to say while it's on the top of my tongue, we need to get the support. I have to put out word to my guys in Alberta. We need to get that support with people down in Alberta to get down and get some water, get some food, get everybody down there to at least help them. These men took it upon themselves to do what they're doing, to stand in solidarity with the rest of us. It's only appropriate if Alberta, get your asses in your vehicles, get the hell down there and start supporting those men and women out there, because it's only a matter of time till this is over. And if I got to come back, it's going to be a little pissy because I don't want to come back till this is over.
Right. And so on that note, and this is part about communal effort. You've got the people at the border who were kind of the front line, the vanguard, if you will, who went down there. Well, now we need to support our troops.
Okay, so I want to make a point, and it's that, so the UK dropped all mandates, right? We've seen that happen. We've seen Ireland do it. We've seen a few countries do it now, and it looks like that seems to be the way it's going. My understanding is that will happen here as well, because there's no reason to have a mandate up anymore. So if the country decides to drop all the mandates, the narrative's going to be that they've decided to do that.
Right? Of course. Any politician is going to make it look like it was their idea.
Exactly. So, what else can we do with this truck rally? What else can we...
Mamina, did you
come on.
There's so much we can do.
Exactly.
Talk to us.
There's so much we can do. This ain't over. This is just the beginning.
Because they're going to drop the mandates. We know that. That's already coming.
Of course they are. Yeah. And we know that. They've never isolated the SARS-CoV-2 virus ever in a human being. Right. Never once.
Tell that story real quick. Tell what you did at in the courthouse.
Well, okay, first and foremost, for everybody out there, I did not win. I was there. I was present. I got a ticket. But that was not without me being able to subpoena Dina Hinshaw to be present, who is the Chief Medical Officer of Health in Alberta, to be present in my court case. And I wanted the material evidence, the white papers, to prove the isolation of SARS-CoV-2 in a diseased patient that has not been genetically made in a lab, has not been spun out in a PCR test 45 million times, which we know is the wrong test to even do any of this, and not cultivated in a computer program. We wanted the actual isolation of the virus, because by having that information, that science to back up your mandates, then that would give justification for what you're doing. You don't have that science. But what happened was they found a little loophole. It's called a jurisdictional challenge, because I used the justice of the peace to subpoena Dina Hinshaw rather than having a court judge, Court of Queen's Bench judge, subpoena a government official. So that being said, they came out and released a document, part of that squashing of the subpoena, stating that they do not have the material evidence I am requesting. Basically saying they don't have it. But then they said, because of the jurisdictional challenge, we don't have to prove it anyway. We don't have to provide it anyway. So it's called the old typical Queen's double talk, the sleight of tongue, the spelling,
The language.
But that being said, it was blown out of the water. We used our transcripts. We used our freedom of information. Spain proved it. Ireland proved it. England proved it. Australia is still in the works, but they're being absolutely slammed in Australia right now. So they're trying to get in there. My background is occupational health and safety professional with a 3-year degree from the University of Alberta, of which I was an industrial hygienist, air contaminants and HVAC systems. I was also a mask H2S certified instructor for donning self-contained breathing apparatuses, fit testing for masks, and safety protocols for everything from NIOSH sanitizing systems to standard operating procedures for doctors and surgery rooms. So my background in the safety aspect of this, as soon as they hit it behind health and safety, was whoa. If this is health and safety, you're all wearing zoot suits right now. You're all under self-contained breathing apparatuses or supplied breathing apparatuses, and your house is basically in a bubble, because those masks that you're putting on your face, those little blue ones, or how our government likes to say, anything is good, just put it over your mouth. Those masks are only good to 110 parts per million. But a virus is at 10 microns, which is smaller than that. You may as well whip a hot dog through a chain link fence. They don't work. And they never have.
They don't work.
Yeah, it's even like throwing sand at a chain link fence.
There you go, yeah.
My daughter's a paramedic, and paramedics are told not to wear those particular masks because they don't work.
Well, and then they're also like, where are these masks coming from? What are they actually made of? You're talking about microfibers, you're talking about plastics, and then
graphene oxide.
And
that's the sterilize. They're using graphene oxide to sterilize them, and it's a sprayed on chemical that once moisturized and heated up, liquefies and gets into your lungs, which is a carcinogenic.
Right. So it's like there's a real this is not about safety, and the continued push of it is actually the antithesis of safety. This is going to make people sick, or prolonged exposure. And then if we look at like the psychological warfare that's been waged on people of like setting these new norms of like covering up your face all the time, it's dehumanizing, it's demoralizing, it's de-identifying. And it's also like, and from a school perspective, putting it on the children, this is going to greatly affect their psyches for a very long time. And last night we were on with I mean, how it goes from elementary school all the way to university, and like the programming that's coming from these official channels. I know my children were in the Ottawa public school system, and as a parent, I was receiving like endless emails about the importance of putting on the mask, these daily screening activities required, and then all of a sudden they flipped a switch and they turned into these like fake vaccine pushers, like encouraging everybody to go out. Hold on, before that they got into the testing thing, and they were pushing testing, and then subsidizing, like, here's 5 tests for every single student in Ontario to go home with over Christmas break. I mean, what do you think? How are these tests possibly ever going to end this? It doesn't make sense. Like, I'll say like this again, this was what someone said last night. It was like, if like, it's as if, you're in college and you still believe in Santa Claus. Like, come on, like that's what it's kind of like about believing in this myth.
Kyle, I got a question. So Amina asked this question earlier about what's possible. I was gonna ask Patrick to maybe expand on that, but before that, even, can you help dig in a bit? Because I heard from Kyle yesterday that you were kind of one of the people that helped get all of this stuff together, or something like that, in terms of the movement, the trucker movement, and all that as well. I think you played a hand in that, and so I'm just curious to know what is the immediate need in terms of, because we talked yesterday about the GoFundMe and and all that, but like where are they, like how do people who are listening, I mean, there's just like literally, like I said, an infinite number of people listening, what can they do to serve, what can they do to help?
Well, right now, people are doing everything they can at the present moment. The meals are coming in, the fuel's coming in, everything's running like a well-oiled machine. Everything's good.
That makes you want to cry. Okay.
The spirits are up in the truckers. They're the people on the ground that are here are all helping out and lending a hand where needed. We're watching a family bloom and grow. Vernon, can you sign my paperwork? Yeah, I can sign your paperwork at some point today. As for the GoFundMe stuff, guys, I have nothing to do with that, and I've always stated that right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's money involved, people turn sick in the head, and I'm not dealing with it. I'm dealing with my guys right now, and anybody who needs money, just reach out and ask me. Anybody who's part of the convoy, if you need money, reach out and ask me.
Yeah, let's be clear.
This has never been about money for me. It never will. This is about my freedom, my children's freedom, and my grandchildren's freedom. And I want everybody to know I'm here to help each and every person out. I gave $1,000 to a family last night who's in their trucks that are needing money. Their funds are getting low. They're trying to pay their rent and bills at home, but they don't want to leave here. So I threw them $1,000 last night just because, I want to make sure everybody's taken care of. They got they're all over here.
And I can attest for Pat. He's never been about money.
I've got $6,000 worth of fuel receipts sent or that are in my hand. I'm not asking for a cent for them because people have been helping us out. So wherever we need the money to go to, we're fixing alternators on guys' trucks. We're just here to make sure everybody is here to do their job and here to get their message across. What we're doing now is the GoFundMe has lawyers and teams and corporations and stuff that are helping them with that. And that's their nightmare, not mine.
Yeah.
When you start getting money involved, people turn greedy, they turn ignorant. And that's, I'm not meaning our team, I'm meaning people in the public that have no idea what's going on. So we'll leave that to them. The guys, the organization, the truckers, the captains, they're doing everything they can to make sure that everybody's running smoothly. There's been a little bit of miscommunication amongst us. So in between time, we're trying to put those to rest. We're trying to run in between things and get things done. Last night, me and George were out till 3:00 in the morning again, trying to squeeze trucks in the middle of the night with under the cover of darkness. So we're trying to do stuff. Sounds like Ottawa Police Services is opening the gates now. They're letting us to get up there more and putting more trucks in places. So that's coming. A lot of things.
Amazing. So inspiring.
And I'll say too, like we did a whole like 2 hours last night, had a bunch of decentralist thinkers come on and discussing like, okay, because of the GoFundMe and the shutting down, and I know you're not involved on that, but like at a principles level, like, the shutting down of that highlights one of the challenges about using centralized corporate services like GoFundMe for raising funds. And some of our mutual colleagues have set up this Hong Kong HODL Bitcoin fund that's received half a Bitcoin already, and we're talking to them about how we can do this. And I feel like you're a steward on the ground who's actually like a very effective like means of being able to assist with directing funds. So we kind of, and finding ways for people who need resources, who are part of the movement, to be able to request them and then be able to get them out. Bitcoin and crypto provides a really great opportunity in a censorship resistant manner, because at what point do the banks start saying, like, do the banks get the calls from the people and be like, hey, like, yeah, let's start shutting down people's accounts on this? And like, that will signal a bigger thing. So this is why, like, Bitcoin, represents, an alternative path that's censorship resistant, that anybody can participate in. You don't need any permission to get into it. And if there's a QR code that represents that funds can go to a protected wallet that is being
or a truck, or I was thinking this morning to a particular truck. What if no?
Yeah, no, exactly. Or
Like,
it goes to, for example, just like it goes to Pat King, and then he, like, in the honor and the integrity that he's displaying, can then show it out. But it's just a QR code that anybody can go to a Bitcoin ATM anywhere in Canada, put $100 in, and send it to there, and it gets right in. So when we talk about Amina, what are some of the other things that are happening out of this? Innovation is happening out of this. People are getting creative. Where some of the systemic challenges are being highlighted, and we're looking at it. I mean, I think as well, I know I'm certainly trying to push the dialogue ahead around full system change here. Like, parliament and representative democracy is completely broken. It is so toxic. There's no accountability and responsibility in our elected officials, and so much money and effort goes in to curating every ballot in every riding on this one day, where it's it's a big campaign for that one check mark, where is this was a pre-electricity system that we're still using today. Can we do better? I know we can do better, and I know we live in this age of exponential technology. So let's start co-creating that. And if you're interested, our show yesterday, we went deep on what is possible, and what a future ideal outcome state looks like, but also what we can do immediately right now, which can be as simple as a Bitcoin address to help get resources to people.
Well, right now, a lot of people are very untrustworthy with the crypto, and we kind of want to keep that. We'll teach people slowly in that. I understand crypto 100%. I have my own, and I trade on crypto quite often. But we're leaving that part because it's a little bit confusing for some people at the present. Right now, we're just working towards making sure everybody's fed, and there's also an adopt a trucker program. So you can go into that. There's funds for getting food and fuel and housing and showers and everything for those truckers at that moment. And while doing that, there's people just lending a hand left and right. I wanted to talk more about what you said about the government structure. Electoral reform is well needed and has been for centuries in this country. What is going on is the number one thing is we have government officials, 5 parties on both sides of the floor that can sit there and openly bribe each other to vote their way on their on the opposition or the majority side. And Jagmeet Singh was a perfect example. He was going against Trudeau in one of his bills he wanted to pass, and then he openly said, "Well, if you back my funding or my bill I want to be passed, then I'll vote your way." And that's bribery in my mind. And I think we need a 2-tiered structured system. This is just my opinion. I think the only prime minister ever allowed to sit in the prime minister's position is a chief of First Nations, because this is their land and they should be in that position. It should always be a chief. And that chief is this deciding vote because he makes that say on the land. Now, we can all work together. Absolutely. There must be equal representation. There must be representation when it comes to taxation, not over-representation when it comes to taxation. We are losing money hand over fist through equalization payments just in Alberta alone. Alberta has been the backbone of this country. And I'm not saying this just because I'm an Albertan. I was born in Ontario, and I'm from Ontario. I've worked in Alberta for over 25 years. But I have seen the product of what comes from Alberta and how it keeps the rest of the country afloat. That being said, I think that with everybody being able to monitor and basically take care of themselves per province, we could see a lot of things working in everybody else's benefit. If we put, let's just go on a scenario here. we've got oil and gas. Okay, oil and gas. We're just going to use that as our product. That's our GDP that gets the most back from cash to hand to mouth kind of thing. So if you put your oil and gas in there, each province has it. So if you put a refinery in each province has an option. They can either, one, build up their supplies to keep the cost of fuel and everything down in their own provinces, or they can sell what they want and what they've got and put it back into infrastructure without having to take away from everybody else. You can put it into your hospitals, you can put it into your schools, you can put it into your roads, you can put it whatever, or you can sell it, make profit, and give it back in what Ralph Klein used to do in Alberta. We called them Ralph bucks, and is a piece of the pie that every Canadian gets a little chunk of change back for their hard work and efforts from their gross domestic product being put out. It's called what was it? It was called a heritage fund. And in that heritage fund, what happened was after Ralph Klein retired, we got the NDP in there, and the NDP milked that heritage fund dry. But every province has the ability to govern themselves. We don't need the federal government to dictate in a lot where our funds go. Now, when the government needs to stick, in my mind, I think the federal government should be gone. Every province is a nation inside of a nation already. And I think everybody should be able to get along with themselves and have, instead of all these MLAs from one place or from all these multiple places to fill seats or whatever, you should have an equal representation of 50-50. And that means 50 from the north, 50 from the south. And when things need to be talked about, we can talk about them, but nothing moves until you've got majority of that people agreeing with it. I'm not a professional when it comes to politics. I hate politics, period. But a little bit more of a transparent, two-tiered system would be way better than dealing with all these multiple parties that have the capability to bribe each other. We see it all the time, and I don't like that, and that's why we're in the mess we're in.
So, on that note, there's a lot of people watching, and those are fantastic, concepts, and let's identify, some of our ideal outcomes. What do we want in Canada? We want freedom and we want prosperity. I think we want to move from this scarcity mindset where it's pitting people against each other, province against province, to abundant. We live in an incredible age. We have access to more information, more technology, more resources, more building supplies, more automation than ever before. We do not need to view this as a monopoly game where one person wins, another person loses. Yeah. So if we rethink this system, and it's important that we have serious discussions about this. And if anybody's listening is really into this, write about it, start sharing, start creating, encouraging discussion about this, because we need to have a real discussion, not a parliamentarian discussion about this. We need to have a real discussion amongst the people, because if we can deploy, with the level of technology, and we talked about crypto is a little bit complicated, but it's getting easier and easier and easier, and more people are going to come into that as well. And, it can provide a base layer of a trusted kind of ledger by which we can have some humans making decisions and leveraging decentralized governance technology to act as a contract system for assuring that it's transparent and accountable. Because right now, I saw Pierre Poilievre querying the industry minister. It was where'd $10 billion in spending go? And they couldn't answer it. And it's they can't answer. And now they want to spend $2.5 billion on rapid tests. It's this amount of money that's being spent right now, it pales in comparison. It's complete funny money, monopoly money, and the levels of it, this amount, we don't even know how much they've been spending on vaccines or fake vaccines. We don't even know. They've been these are secretive. How much?
Oh, yeah. $3.5 billion just in the province of Alberta and BC alone.
Just in those, yeah. And then you add Ontario, and then we're probably in the tune of
just with the east side of things. I'm more familiar with the west side of things, but I also want to touch base on this, where those vaccines are going. I want everybody to look up a little company called Switch, and I'm going to bust that story out very soon. I'm just building it all up, making sure I got all my I's dotted and my T's crossed. That's going to come out tonight. I'm going to expose where a lot of this money's gone. Remember, I am an investigative journalist on the side, and don't think for 1 minute I didn't come here with a huge story to bust open.
Right. And I think there is, and that's one of the things too about this is like, you are one person, Pat, and and you're doing a lot of the research and the digging, but there is so much investigation that needs to take place. So on that note, as we move forward, we get back our freedoms, like we need to have justice and some accountability so that we don't repeat history. Again,
Kyle, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I hear what you're saying. And what I see for me right now in front of everything is that, okay, solutions. We need self-governing society. I think, yes, the digital golden age is going to perhaps lend that type of technology for us to grow into, and our higher conscience will be able to use and develop these sort of systems. And I do see a self-governing world is where more will go towards. But right now, presently, right now in this world, we need people to stand up. We need people to stand up, because I know people in government. I have, we all have all these contacts, and I hear the government politicians talking about what they're doing, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I personally tell them straight up, that's wonderful, but people are tired of the politicians.
What's going on?
Right? We need people to stand up.
No,
we need to stand up.
Agreed.
Kyle, do you know a gentleman by the name of Jordan Paquette?
Perhaps.
No? I don't remember. Perhaps. Let's just put it this way. We know where they're going, and we know where the Switch company is bringing it. I don't know if my camera can bring it, but just know this, guys.
We've got a huge story. Military? Is that a military plane, or
that's a big giant Russian transport plane? And not saying Russians are involved, but it is a cargo plane, and a lot of money is being funneled and brought back through a shell corporation and being looked at as the purchasing of medical supplies, but it's not medical supplies. And it's just going from one pocket into another pocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like within this, I mean, like, how many
even worse than the Wii scandal?
I mean, this whole thing is way worse than the Wii scandal. The Wii scandal was, was one thing, but this is global in nature, and this has deep ties, and it warrants investigation. But like to what Amina was saying, absolutely, take off your face nannies, take off your face diapers.
We need to stand up. We need the people's power. We need the power of the people.
Like, but in doing so, we can't do. This isn't about violence. This isn't about aggressively trying to wake people up or to have force of will on people. It's literally ask questions, peacefully, non-comply, and if and take your business elsewhere. If you're not being, if a business doesn't want your business, or they're so into that, move elsewhere. You have freedom of choice and to do these things, and we are not this is the freedom movement is not a fringe minority, it is the majority. And and we carry an awful lot of power, and just look within your heart and yourself to say, you know what, I can stand up. I'm going to stand up for my kids. I'm going to stand up for my parents. I'm going to stand up for my ancestors. And if you want to come and connect with people all across the country, there's new convoys popping up, and there's rallies popping up, and there's Ottawa come to Ottawa if you can and participate, and all around the globe too, right? This is no longer we talk about Canada because we're Canadians, we're so close here, but this situation that's taking place in Canada is also taking place in different levels and in different formations in other countries all around the world. And so on that, Pat, what are you hearing from other countries? Are we going to see more convoys? I feel like they're already popping up.
Oh yeah, I'm working with the team in Australia as we speak. I'm working with teams all over the country, all over the world. But I can't say that I got my hands in everybody's cookie jar, but I definitely got my hands in a lot of influential stuff.
Well, and to help,
I just got to take this call. It's one of my road captains. I'm still here though.
No problem. No problem. Do what you got to do. This is insane, Kyle. What is happening? I feel like I'm still in dream state right now. Wow. Very inspiring. Very inspiring. Hey, so are you all headed to Ottawa on Saturday? Just curious. I mean, are
No,
you?
I'm not. I'm in Florida.
You're
I
in
left
Florida.
for the
Okay.
winter, so I'm here right now
Got
watching
it.
it
So you'll be there in
although
spirit.
I've been there the whole time on the front lines doing so much. So for me, it was hard at first watching all of this and not being there.
I
But
was gonna say I have so many friends that are like in the US or elsewhere that have left Canada, and they're all writing me like, "I wish I was in Canada right now.
yeah,
I wish I was in Ottawa." I think there's a
yeah.
lot of people.
It's not
Um,
over though. It's not over.
no,
So there's a lot going on. I plan to go back at some point, but there's just that energy in that moment was something probably to experience. So,
I was gonna say, so
right?
I was there. I was there. So last week
Oh,
I
okay.
convinced my family to come down to Ottawa, and
Nice.
we went and we went and stayed like maybe 20 minutes away from all the action, and we ended up going right into the heart of it. And it was I went first myself because I was a little bit, wary about what might happen, but I felt so safe that I came back and took my 4-year-old and 7-year-old daughters and took them right into the middle.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was just nothing but
Fun.
love. It was like Stanley Cup meets like the NBA championships. Remember when Kawhi happened a couple like years ago, whatever? It was like combine those two with Canada Day. It was like that times 100. Like everybody was literally just
Awesome.
celebrating. It was the most beautiful thing. I took a lot of footage as well on my camera, which I'm going to share soon as well.
Oh,
But
nice.
I'm excited to go back as well. I think on
And
Saturday
Sonny,
I've
you
got
went down not just with like your wife and kids, but you also went down with like
my father-in-law.
your father-in-law, and
Yeah,
like
I took him as
bring
well.
bring other
Oh,
other people.
nice.
He
So
was like, "Why aren't they doing this in Colombia?" I was like, "I don't know. Make some calls." Hey,
so
Patrick, are you done your call?
Yep.
I was gonna ask you something. So Australia, you kind of hinted or mentioned it earlier, but what is it that like what needs to happen there? I mean, it's scary, the stuff I see out of there. Did you have any thoughts on that? I think you alluded
Yeah.
to the fact that a convoy is getting together, but
Oh yeah,
it feels like
it's
there's a
going
lot
right
of
now.
wrong
A
going
lot
on
of the
there,
guys
no?
that I talk to are the ones organizing it, and I have a good
Mm,
connection in the Australian freedom movement down there. They're moving, they're rolling. They've had enough. The Aussies are mad. They're pissed, and rightfully so.
hmm,
The downfall to the Aussies is they've been subservient to their government rule for too long, and
Mhm.
they're getting up. And you know what? They've been pushed down too hard. That one might get rather aggressive because these Australians just want to be free, but they haven't had the guidance or the leadership to help them
mm,
get to that position.
mm.
So if at any time wherever I can lend a hand, I lend a hand and try and give them that motivation to try and get up and do something. And that's basically what I've been trying to do is just motivate people to exercise your God-given inalienable right to stand the hell up and say no. And as
Mm.
soon as you do that, you take that control back into your hands. But the number one thing is, and I've always told people, don't ever allow something that is out of your control you, because right then you give it all your
100%.
power, you give it all
That's
your
right.
energy, and they don't deserve that. So we have to do this respectfully because they want us to flip out.
They
They
do.
want us to get
Yeah.
mad. They want us to create a scene. So now here we are trying to ease down the tension, do this professionally. We got to remember we're professional drivers where you've got a world looking at us. And if we mess
Yeah.
up in any way, it's going to be scrutinized.
Mm.
Well,
So,
and they want to some people may not be understanding to this is that they want to transition us from one enslavement to another enslavement, and that's the new world order. And that enslavement is designed to keep us in complete enslavement for a permanency. It's
You will own
something that,
nothing and be happy.
yeah, we have to be very aware of what their plan is, and they've been
Mm,
planning this for a very, very long time. So we need to be very vigilant and stand up and know our freedoms and not give our power, because as soon as we give our power to them, and that's what this whole thing is about, is taking our power away, right? And people are willingly doing it, not realizing what they're
I just
doing.
I
So
just got a few. I got a few names I want to run by Kyle here. Kyle, do you know Garnett Genius Genois, Rob Decker,
I don't know. I without
Melissa Lanceman, Christopher Andre, Shiv Raj, Sidney McEwen, John Baird. You know John Baird.
John Baird. Yeah, no John Baird. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Forian, Tyler Cameron, John Brassard, Andrew Shear, Anita Polyev. Those are just a few names that are in cahoots that are taking a lot of money from where this money came from, the World Health Organization, and are funneling this money into their own private funds.
Is Anita Polyev related to?
Right.
What?
Let's remember what is going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is this 100%. They will put their corporations, their trust funds in a family member's account, and it'll go into those family members' accounts where it doesn't have any ties to their personal accounts, or they'll hide it in their business accounts. Just like Rob Ford has his own advertisement company, but yet he increased his advertisement company by $5.4 million in the last 2 years because he's in control of all the administrative signage that goes in for COVID mandates. So he's making a buck off this. All these people are making a buck off this. They are all making a buck to the point where they've funneled this money that they've been allotted into private funds so they don't see it, and it's all hidden away from the books. What we want is a financial audit on all politicians, family members, and businesses. We want accountability and an ethics board to be built so that at any time, any of these politicians, and we catch wind of any of this, that they are automatically pulled and they're held under what are they called? Let go from work without pay until they've been found that they're not involved with this. The more and more that we chase this money trail, and that's where it comes to, this giant money trail, the more and more you chase it, we will find it. We will always find you. Don't ever try and hide, because it's going to be found. And that's why we've been working hard. The guys who found this story out found it out the other night, and I've been waiting to blow it out of the water. I'm trying to get this out to everybody right now. I took the day off today so I can build this story and get it up and out and onto the presses here soon. Because the reason, and Kyle, I'm not trying to put you on the spot by no means. I'm just trying to ask because this is how deep it goes. It goes really deep, guys. And all I'm trying to ask is from Kyle is if he recognizes anybody, and if he does, if he can give me some insight on any of these people.
Because yeah, I mean, from my perspective,
I don't want to discredit anybody. I don't want to implicate somebody in here that I can't, that could be in trouble. I'm a journalist, and I want to make sure my sources are credible. So that's why I'm asking.
Indeed, and I mean, I don't have. I'm not in the machine. I've stayed out of that. I got in a bunch of hot water because I went to Switzerland. Not over Bitcoin. I went to Switzerland to speak at the what was it called? The Crypto Valley conference, and I was invited by Trades Canada because I was the executive director of the Blockchain Association of Canada, and I've been in the crypto space for a long time, and in that capacity they covered my expenses to go to and speak at this conference and then take a bunch of meetings and discuss it all. And I don't know if they got what they were hoping for, because I just went did what I did and speak honestly and truthfully about it all. And it was like an $11,000 bill that and I had to buy 2 flights because I got denied entry on an Air Canada plane for having a water stain on my passport, which was a whole nother insane thing. But the press tried to make a big thing about $11,000 bill that, and trying to connect it with Justin somehow. But that was like the one kind of thing. And I just and again, the press called and I just answered the phone and talked to them openly. I don't have a comms team helping me and guiding me on what to say. I'm just trusting in my mantra of being impeccable with my words and not making assumptions, don't taking things personally, and doing my best, and being truthful and gentle and fearless. And that's what I'm doing.
And I just got to ask this because I'm a dickhead, I guess. I don't know, but did you have any ties into the weed scandal?
No, I mean, I went to one Wii event. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It was so weird. I went in, it was in Ottawa, it was at the stadium, it was at the where they play hockey, and there was 20,000 kids in there.
It's weird,
going nuts. And then they had all these celebrities and actors. Justin presented, and my mom talked, and Like it's like, this weird hypno training, like being part of the club. You don't earn your ticket to you don't buy your ticket to you earn it. And like, it's part of like an MLM scheme, like for selling merch. And then also, like, there's just heavy duty indoctrination taking place through the whole thing too. I was like, this is just weird. And I remember, like, calling them out, and like, it's again, and it's like, you're Trump. I'm like, I'm not Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just asking questions. And I find this a little bit odd. And yeah, so I don't trust the we thing. I feel like, but it was big corporate too, was the other thing. It was like, there are big bucks behind that, like to rent out a stadium, like, to have all the, and then tied in with the schools too. So it's just like, it's a big weave. It's a big spell. And like,
I remember that.
And they're using it to get in these celebrities and push these subjective woke narrative on the kids. And it's like, and also one of the things was like, I am we, and it's like, so it's like teaching, like, at that, in from that sense, it's kind of like, about teaching, communism is one way you could describe it, or like, collectivism, but like, de-individualism, like removing the individual from the equation and treating everybody as like, that, where I like to counter, say, I am a king. I am like, I'm the king of my kingdom. You are a king. You are a queen. You have a crown on your head. It might be invisible, but it's there. Like, own your world. Like, don't give your power away to others. You are not a serf to others.
Oh, I was working in the schools at the time, and I remember all the kids were getting on the bus and going to this we event, and they'd come back so pumped. But everything about it just seems so strange. And we didn't talk about it much in the schools, but it was a big deal. A lot of the kids were all shipped out to this event, and it was taken very seriously.
Oh yeah, and I'll say the energy in there was freaking wild. Like, yeah, I've never seen Scotiabank, like I've never seen the arena like that much energy. Like, and I'd say it was positive energy. It was kids, it was child energy. It was like,
yeah, but they're harnessing. Stoked. They're harnessing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's like, and then you go back to like, Super Bowl, for example, Super Bowl 2020, when like, J-Lo and Shakira did that sick performance. Go watch that. Like, if you haven't seen that one or didn't really look at that with a critical mind, go watch that. What do you notice? They put all the kids in cages. Like, the kids are in cages. And then what happens right after that? All the kids, where everyone's locked down, the whole world's locked down. And children, like they show the actual children, but I would say large children, adult children all around the world got locked down. And, those of us who like, have open hearts, minds, consciousness, like, reject that prison. And, I know that while many people have been like, faced with a lot of darkness in the last 2 years, like there's also been an amazing amount of opportunity and light and connection and hearts and minds opening up to the reality. So, you might try and come at it with dark, like, the more dark, kind of the more light. And that's what we're seeing now. And all that energy has just been like, the spring has been coiled so hard, and now we're just going to emerge and blast out massive light, is what I say. And I mean, as you can probably sense, I'm an optimist. I'm a believer. I want to manifest like, this future abundant, prosperous, global society, where individual rights and self-sovereignty is paramount. And we work together towards, everybody achieving their dreams, whatever they might be, and encouraging, skill mastery and life purpose, whatever that means, as opposed to focusing on, the negative and challenge. And like, when you give and you get angry, you're giving away your power. So it's like, be critical, but don't give into it. Like, criticize by creating. And that's one of the great things that this stage where we're at right now. And that's the way like the free market has always worked, is, when there's an opportunity, like, it creates solutions.
Kyle, do you mind if I switch gears back into our original conversation? Because all I can see is a truck behind you, and just all I think about are truckers right now. Sorry, I want to ask, and this is a really unique opportunity that Pat's here as well. I want to touch on a topic of the word courage, right? So I think that's kind of what I was trying to poke at with the Australia thing and kind of what's happening today. But like, Patrick, can you speak to this? Because you are like one of the like maybe 3 or 4 people that have been really kind of vocal about a lot of this. I know you were getting Instagram shut down and you're coming on every day with the and you just in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. I mean, today people might say, "Oh, it's a party, let's go join," but you were literally like one of these few people that were seeing this long before. How did you muster up the courage? How do others find that courage? Because I think my sense is that a lot of people are super freaked out. They're super scared by the virus, by the news, by the media, by their friends, their family, and masks everywhere. How do you break past that kind of psychological barrier? You know what I mean?
For myself, that's a pretty easy question. Once you see, fear is of the unknown. If you don't know it, it scares you. Once you know it, you can no longer be scared of it anymore. Therefore, it becomes you're afraid, or you just don't want to do it, or you don't want to face it. Once I've done my research, and then I have a grounds to step up and be able to base my facts on what I have, facts over fear is what we like to ramble on about. What we do is I'm not afraid of much in this world. I'm afraid of snakes. I'll let you know that. Snakes, anything with no legs and moves like lightning, should not exist on the face of this planet. But in the face of anything else, I've always had that fight. You get that fight or flight instinct. I was brought up in an industry where you couldn't have that flight instinct. You had to be ready to fight. And then when I say that is I used to sit on, we used to describe it as standing on the loaded stick of dynamite at 12 hours a day, all day long, every day. And that's in the oil and gas industry. Anything can go wrong. And when it does go wrong, it all goes wrong, and it goes wrong in a hurry. Well, you have to have protocols, procedures in place, and you're in charge of men, and you have to make sure everybody's safe. And you have to be the one that's calm, cool, and collected in the eyes of adversity in a situation where destruction and fires and flames and explosions. And you have to have your protocols down, your BOP controls, knowing your procedures. Hi, Kelly, up, down, know when your valve's ready to shut, valve in place, come down and isolate that well, run your kick fluid in, try and bring that gas pocket out, circulate your gas pocket, blah, 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 in order to contain Mother Nature and not let her blow your pants off. So we were always drilled in those drills to always be ready at any moment's notice. A horn can blow and you got to react. So a lot of my instinct now is know what I'm talking about, know how to react to it, have a procedure in place so that I know how to work it, and then also don't be scared, because when people are looking up to you, as soon as you show any uneasiness or any kind of fear, that's going to set into them. So when I do what I'm doing, I've backed everything up. I've been the guinea pig. I've fought with the court systems. I've researched everything with a fine-tooth comb. I'm here in Ottawa. I'm putting myself in the front. Everybody says, Pat, you're going to get yourself shot. I said, no, where's the best place to hide? Right in the wide open. This is where I hide. I don't hide in places where everybody's gonna, in a secret cave somewhere, like Kyle's brother's doing, hiding in some little hole because he's too afraid to come and meet people. I stand in the wide open. I'm here because right now there's a God-given energy, a creator-like drive in my heart and in my soul, that I know there's something wrong. My gut instinct has told me something's wrong. And I always listen to my gut. My gut got me this far in life. And that gut has made sure that I've stayed alive to this time. So here I am acting on my gut instinct so that I know with facts exactly how to react and exactly how to do this.
Facts over fear, that resonates a lot. I'm an engineer, businessman type of thing, so I get that. Can you also segue into love? Because this show is called the Love and Freedom Show. Chris Guy, I don't know if we're big fans of him or not here, but I felt like he was one of the early people also kind of waking people up. And he said something that really resonated, because I was going out there with the facts and mom and dad and friends, look at the logic and the data, and nobody wanted any of it. They were just like, what? Like, I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a politician. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. And they just would close off. But then when I just started going, Mom, I love you, like, first and foremost, like, my friend, here, come give me a hug, and then kind of lead with the rest of the stuff. It seemed to resonate more. But I think you seem like that kind of character. Like you're courageous, you're a lion, but you're also kind of like a bear hug type of guy.
Yeah, well, I have one of the biggest hearts ever. And the reason I have that big heart is because I've had it shattered. Straight up. I know what it's like to have a broken heart. I know what it's like to hurt. I know what it's like to feel sorrow and pain. I know what it's like to have loved ones oust you and not see you for who you are. I know what it's like to live with a broken heart. And I don't wish that on anybody. So that's why I try and drive love. I try and drive peace. I just try and, be that nice guy. Because the nicest guys out there are always the ones who have been hurt the most. And now you see, I'm kind of that big teddy bear. I got a mean streak. I don't like bringing it out. But at this point in my life, I know that my mean streak can get me into a lot of trouble. So I try and reserve that for when needed. But I also know that this world has been lacking love in this 6 foot distance. And this is where I share this one. The reason why they want you 6 feet apart is because your heart frequency resonates at 6 feet. The more you're away from each other, the loneliness sets in. And what's the number one killer in humanity? It's loneliness, not having anybody to be there with you or that one person. So when they kept us 6 feet apart, we were all looking at it and going, wait a minute. So we did some research. And yes, your heartbeat frequency beats 6 feet outside your body in a like your bubble. And when we're not allowed to reconnect with people and put that frequency out into the universe and allow people to be, they say the law of attraction. Well, your positives need to meet positives, negatives meet negatives in any kind of electrical energy type of situation. So now we're here just trying to bring that heart frequency back closer to each other. That's why we nicknamed this bear hug, because I'm a big bear and I love to give hugs. And I can bring that heart frequency right into me, and we can beat it together. And that's where the love comes from in this. And there's times where I've almost given up myself, and I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I almost said, I can't do this anymore. I hurt too much. This hurts too much. The way people tear me down in the media, tear me down and behind the doors, tear me down every way they can, all because I'm trying to do good things for people. I've really learned the darker side of humanity in what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that even if I can just change one person a day, then I've done my job and I've done what I've been here put on this earth for. So the love aspect to this is we're ignorant and we're rude and we're mean and we're damn right disgusting people. Words you can't get back. When you hurt somebody with your words, you can't take those back. So we try and just push the positives, keep that heart frequency up, raise your vibes to attract your tribes.
And so one of those, and on that note, Pat, you see having a dance party this weekend, right? And I mean, I've been part of the decentralized dance party kind of movement where we've hosted giant parties all around the world, in public spaces, bringing people together. And it feels like, this is going to continue happening, because when you get people together in those high vibrational states, when they are close and they are dancing, it percolates out. So, and it seems like, there is a lot of kind of that energy going. I mean, Burning Man, it's like people come together and they just, that energy is so strong, and we must overcome this division. And so, what are the details on this weekend? But and then also, I'd really love for you to kind of give people who might be watching around the world, what does it take to get the convoy going and get these activities going? What's the blueprint? What's up, Doge?
That's been my partner for the last couple of weeks.
All right.
Cute. What's his name?
That's Clyde.
Clyde?
That's Clyde, Canada's super dog.
No,
that's
cute.
love. And I'll give you something right now. I just want to bring up to you. And I'm sorry, I know I'll get to your question, Kyle. I just want to bring something up. So you want to talk about love, Sonny. When we have dogs in our lives, what is dog spelt backwards?
God.
What does dogs give to you?
Love.
Unconditional love.
Right.
You can look at that dog for peeing on the floor and get mad at it and make it rub its nose in it, and then that dog will still come up and love you.
Mm-hmm.
God does the same thing. If you turn your back on God, he won't be there for you. But the second you accept him to come in, he'll be there to lick your face and tell you he loves you. And why is dog man's best friend? Because man envies dog. Because man is in need of that unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I thought maybe Sonny broke down in tears there, so he backed out of it. Oh, we can't hear you, bro.
No, I love dogs. I love it. I saw your dog in the truck when you were driving down. It was great. It was great.
Well, he's not my dog. He's Carrie. Carrie's the lady that donated her motorhome to help me come across Canada.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Kate.
But I told her I'd take him from her anytime she wants somebody to babysit him.
He seems to really take to you.
Oh, he's a good dog. I do great with all dogs. I feel like sometimes I'm a dog whisperer.
Yeah.
And dogs really, we have a good connection.
Nice. That's awesome. You should get one.
Yeah, but then I'm on the road all the time and I don't have time to take
care of it. Some dogs love being in the truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I want to give it all the utmost attention I can. I couldn't neglect it. So that's where I'm at. But Kyle, you were saying, go ahead. I apologize.
Well, it's like, in terms of other people around the world, like, looking to organize their own convoys or, try and fight for liberty and freedom using, like, what would be some of your recommendations towards organizing, like, how much like paperwork was involved in making this happen? Is there any paperwork, or is this fully organic?
Oh my gosh, hang on a second.
Yeah, apparently it's quite the paper trail.
Is there paperwork? How many folders you want me to pull out here for you? Yeah, there's paperwork involved. There's registration forms. There's consent forms. There's code of conduct forms. There's money forms to get your money sent to you. The paperwork is intense. Remember, we're professional drivers, so there's also logbooks that have to be followed. There's fuel depots, DEF fluids, which is the emissions killers, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that went involved, and this doesn't come from me. This comes from the admin side of things that put this all on. So they were working hand over fist to get that running. It's incredible. It's incredible.
How many trucks do you see or anticipate coming in this weekend?
I wish I could give you guys, I get that question a lot, and I wish I can give everybody those answers and help you, get those answers to you. But unfortunately, they just changed so much. I just got to take this, guys.
Kyle, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Sonny. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think that's a really, and there's also a question about how many trucks can actually fit in downtown Ottawa. And we're seeing a lot of the, the camera angles of Parliament Hill where, trucks are big.
Trucks are big.
Only so
many. Yeah,
when
you do the math and you look at the average of a 30-foot trailer, and you just do the math and you try and add it up, you realize, okay, there can't be, some of the numbers out there are a little outrageous for sure, but and then of course the media downplays it tremendously. It's
at one point I just seen somebody say that 50,000 trucks, that was a lie. That was not a lie. That was OPP clicking as they went by from Windsor, they went by out west, and when they got here from the east, they were on the highways clicking.
Wow.
So when we say 57,000 trucks and cars and everything, there was 57,000. We had helicopters flying over, we had airplanes flying over, every which way but loose. They were coming over and counting us as we were going. We had to give updates from the moment we left the West to every city that we joined up in. I was constantly on the phone with Ottawa and OPP to get them to how many numbers you got now, Pat? How many trucks you pick up now? Guys, this was absolutely accounted for, everything. And there's more coming.
That's incredible.
We have contingency plans that if these boys got to go to work, we're rolling as many as we want in. We've got people all over that are ready to march in or ready to roll their trucks in.
So do some of these truckers, are they not registered, some of them? Do they just try to join in on the convoy?
A lot don't want even to have their names on this.
Yeah.
A lot don't even care. They don't
Right.
give a crap about having any recognition. And that's the way a lot of people in this are. They
Right.
just want to be a part of this because they know how important it is to get this message out to everybody.
Yeah.
Hey guys, good news. I got the comment stuff working, and I wasn't lying. See that? It's literally like a stream of just people commenting.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
I think it's a bit hard to even catch anything, but you get a vibe of like how like positive people are. There's a couple of, I think, naysayers here and there, but it is insane.
Well, you gotta
Right.
understand, and I want to put this to rest too. Kyle, I just want to say this. Understandably, you're a good guy. I can feel it in you, I see it in you, and I can hear it in your voice. I understand that. It's the company that you're aligned with that people are going to give you that negative aspect. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
You can pick your friends, but you
Kyle
can't
is
pick
all
your
love.
family. And
He's
that's
all
something I was told when I was a kid, because I have some weirdos in my family too. You can pick your friends, but you cannot pick your family, and that's it. That's all you got to say to that, and just carry on. I understand the shit
Thanks,
that
Pat.
you must go through. I think I go through shit. I can just imagine what you're going through.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. In the last week, it's been basically 99% kind of love and support and gratitude, and I share that back with everybody. Yeah, but again, it's like to try and like on the take things personally. It's like as much as the good comes in and the bad comes in, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's just like just like because
And
I don't want to turn into an ego. Like want to be careful about ego because like all that positive stuff can really power an ego, and like being conscious of that is critical. I did say one comment that was like, what about the trades? What about other like we've seen a bunch of tractors, like we've seen construction. Like what are we gonna start seeing excavators out here?
Kyle,
we were asked to take the excavators out. We weren't allowed to bring any in just in case somebody went rogue, and that's understandable. You never know who wants to come in and remodel the parliament. So we don't want any remodeling happening, and we want to make sure this is done politely.
No, I just wanted to add that Kyle, going back to Kyle, because I'm reading some of the comments. Of course, there's always these naysayers and haters and whatnot, but Kyle has gone out on a limb and he's stood up against a lot of the narrative out there, and he's done this, and he has a family, he has children, whereby his family don't talk to him anymore. So I just repeating what we talked about yesterday. I just want any new viewers now to hear that his family does not talk to Kyle. They have not seen the grandkids. They are not involved. His father is, but as far as a lot of the other family, the Trudeaus, they're not talking to Kyle. So he's really standing up for himself and his family, and he's taken a huge loss, but he's following his heart. So he's, in my books, you've always been a good guy, and you're nothing but love, Kyle.
I second that for sure. I've known Kyle for a long time, 7 years now, and he's he believes in freedom and decentralization, and and just making the world a better place. So so nothing but love. Guys, where do you want to go next? Do you want me to kill the comments? Because it's like it's a little bit much, but it's also inspiring to see so many people just like caring about what we're talking about. And Kyle, where do you want to go with this next?
Well, I mean, I was interested in we'll wait for Pat, but learning more about like other trades coming in. the farmers, because like the truckers represent kind of like, the
Mm.
spearhead, but more of other large groups and industries and associations. But I'd also really like to learn more too about like the trucker industry, because we see the government talking points that 90% are vaccinated. Like, is that that's probably a debatable number.
And I'm curious to ask the question, Kyle, why the truckers?
Well, I'm not up there filming it.
Why didn't the laptop class stand up? Why didn't the politicians stand up? Why didn't the doctors make this happen? Why didn't the, why didn't everybody else stand up?
Bitch is up there burning the Canadian flag right.
Good question for Pat.
Okay, great. No, I think we got to let's.
What'd you say? We didn't
Pat,
hear
let's
that.
talk about
Patrick,
that for
what
a
was
second.
that? Oh, you missed it. Oh no, we talked over
nothing.
Star of the show here.
Rewind.
Jeez.
Well, okay, we don't want to like. Should we like? I mean, it warrants discussion because it's going to be a big news item.
So Sonny's got a question, Pat. He
go ahead, Sonny.
Yeah, change topic. Okay, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that sounds like something huge happened there. But okay, we'll keep moving forward. Good or bad? Are things okay?
Carry on. Next question, please.
Next question. The question is why the truckers? Why not the politicians, the laptop class, the doctors, the media? I mean, there's just so many other people that should have or could have, or maybe you would have thought. But why is it that the truckers, and in retrospect, it's kind of obvious. But I mean, looking forward, a couple months ago, I would have never guessed this.
Well, it looks like this. Our truckers are so underappreciated. They are so taken for granted. They are a demographic of people that are just straight up hardworking, great people that just want to do their job, who just want to be, there behind the wheel, getting your product to you, and you push the wrong demographic of people. The importance of truckers, you'll understand in a real hurry if they pull the pin and they don't make their deliveries. You'll understand how important they are to you. And, these politicians took them for granted. They decided they're going to throw a mandate on something that has nothing to do with it. They're isolated all day long. They are, they're not in contact with very many people most of the times. They live in their own little bunks in their trucks, and they just do their own thing. So, and they're underappreciated. The hard work that they actually have to do. We call them professional drivers. We don't call them. They are delegated as professional drivers. So, Amina, did I get your attention there?
Yeah, I'm listening. Sorry, there's something going on.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. Please just let it slide, and I'll tell you guys after what's going on. What is going on is, these truckers have been given the shit end of the stick for a long time. And the importance of them doing what they're doing here is absolutely 100% the reason why they're here. Because they're here to show you how important they really are. And they're not just dumb, idiot truckers. They're actually men and women, husbands and wives, families. These men make their own businesses. They run their own things. They're good, wholesome people. And they're that demographic of people that all they want to do is be left alone. Don't bother them. Let them make their money. Let them pay their taxes. But if you push them, they're not the ones you want to be pushed. The ones that they want to be with are the ones that you don't want this silent majority pushed to the brink where they have an ability to starve you.
Yeah. And on that note, how unified.
Like that, and you got nada.
So true.
So powerful. And how unified are the truckers? Like
CB radios. Talk about that. Talk about their radios. Hey, should we bring this live to an end, guys? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on.
I
just had some of the crew just walked in the door, so we're trying to
Patrick, we can bring this one to an end. Kyle and I are gonna do this quite on the regular here, but we'll invite you back in. We'll let you go do what you need to do.
Oh, I ain't got to do nothing. I took the day off.
Okay,
great. Well, I mean, we're good to go. But one of the things, Pat, too, is like, you know, how unified. Like, I know the mainstream media is trying to like project that like this is a small fringe minority of truckers too. But like, what's the sense amongst like the trucking community and the trucking industry of like, you know, I would posit there's probably overwhelming support. What's your sense?
They're all in support.
They're all in support. It's a family.
Even the tow trucks, trucks that were asked to come and tow the vehicles said, "Shove it up your ass."
They said we have COVID.
Yeah.
And
2 weeks.
And I think it's also important to understand too that trucks are still running though. Like, you know, they're like goods are being shipped. Like, you know, they're like the supply chain is functioning. It hasn't stopped.
Well, it's slowed down and it has emptied shelves. But notice the only shelves that are staying full are the big corporations such as Walmart, such as Costco.
Of course.
But not these mom and pop stores, not your restaurants. Now you're going to increase the cost of goods and services, increase the cost of fuels, transportation, the cost of drivers.
It's all by design.
Let's just put it this way. I'm going to tell you, I'll give you a little piece. There's some lady who thinks she's the Queen of Canada who just basically committed political suicide up on the hill, and we have nothing to do with that. First and foremost, this lady is a nut job, and I do not stand by this. I will never stand by that. And if you burn your friggin' Canadian flag on my country, you're gonna friggin' burn too. I'm done. This is what's going on. Somebody just burned our Canadian flag, and that lady, you better pack your bags and head back to the fucking Philippines. I'm out.
Yep. So that is, it is out. Like
mic drop. What happened?
Mic drop. Thank you, Pat.
That's what just happened, guys. So this lady, this is what I brought up earlier, and we weren't going to discuss it. So if you don't want me to talk about it, I won't. But that is what he's discussing. He's
let's discuss it. Let's
Queen Romana. So Queen Romana is from the Philippines, and she's been talking her narrative for the past year, and she is becoming the commander-in-chief of Canada.
So she's self-declaring that she is the commander-in-chief
she
of
will
Canada.
be, not she's self-declaring, but she hasn't until today or whatever the ceremony is. She will be the commander-in-chief of Canada. So there's a new flag that they've designed, and I saw the flag, and it honestly, it's a maple leaf with a sword going right through the middle of the maple leaf. So it's purple. I just don't understand what's going on. I'm just like, how does this happen?
Exactly.
This why is she not being stopped if she's on the hill? And I know there was a lot of police there around and in the side streets as well prior to the event. So I'm not sure how she's getting away with it, because if you're burning a flag, I mean, isn't that at the point where our police would stop that? I don't know. I don't understand. I'm really confused. I don't understand what's going on.
And I mean, I've seen, like, you know, from her side of things and looking and doing a little bit of investigation, it doesn't seem like, you know, it doesn't seem like she has any. I mean, there's no other people ever. It's her individually kind of speaking with a tremendous amount of I don't know, like, you know, like assumption in what's taking place. And it seems like, you know, I've gotten some messages about her too, and like, you know, she speaks some points, but it seems like, you know, in my opinion, this reeks, like this has red flags all over it. And you know, it looks like, you know, a psyop. This looks like, you know, this is staged, and it looks like this will, you know, there's definitely like this is an opportunity for you know, people to she's trying to connect herself with this cause and use that for the purpose of expanding, you know, her mad dream or whatever she's pursuing.
I don't understand it. I just don't.
Anyways,
know
guys,
enough.
like, yeah, let's not maybe confuse matters too much. We can do a little bit more research.
We
Well,
should.
But it's important to understand that, like,
I know quite a
be
bit about this, to
careful.
be honest with you. I know quite a bit. I just rather not get into it because I don't want to give it too much credibility and throw
Yeah.
all of it off. But
Moving on.
but I do know quite a bit about it. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I have no idea what to say. I mean, if anyone's burning Canadian flag, that's obviously terrible. That's awful.
Yeah.
You know, and on that note, like, what does the upside down flag mean?
Well,
The
that's
upside
not
down
good.
means that Canada's in distress or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you know, flying the upside down flag is not, that's not like burning a flag. That's not desecrating a flag. That is a warning. That is as you know, an individual, that is you are sounding an alarm bell by carrying an upside down flag, by flying an upside down flag. You are, you know, stating that Canada is in distress, that, you know, that the situation is warrants action.
Yeah. Kyle, we were like an hour and a half in. Do we want to bring this one to a close and we can start up again in a little bit? Or is there any other things you want to chat about right now? It was a bit overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. I was like trying to hold the ship together because I, like, you saw what I showed you.
It was
like
a lot.
thousands and thousands and thousands of comments. It was so weird.
It was a lot.
My system almost broke. Yeah, I have a $10,000 computer and it almost died. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's like, it's a flood of comments, and like,
something happened with Pat. Yeah, that's why I was trying to like get some.
Pat's got a really, I guess, a very, very large audience. So, you know, really grateful to Pat for coming on and sharing, you know, and everything that he's doing. And, you know, I wish we could have figured out, like, you know, if he's paying out of pocket to help people, it's like, you know, how can people support Pat? And, you know,
that's kind of what I was trying to get at too. Yeah,
I don't think he is, but no, because he's part of with the truckers, and it doesn't sound like he is. I don't know. I can't say it for 100%, but yeah.
I didn't want to dig too deep into the Bitcoin thing just because I could sense he was like, and he's kind of right in the sense that those people, like truckers, aren't going to want to now all of a sudden learn about Bitcoin. Number one, the idea that I was having, I'll say it now because he's gone, but I was thinking, it was like, we could be the conduit, meaning we could just literally be like, okay, all the funds go to Pat, and then Pat turns it into dollars, and then he gives it to whoever. So now what that does is it opens up the ability for anyone sitting anywhere in the world, because right now, what is he going to get? A wire? No one's going to send him a wire for like, it's going to take a week or whatever. But if people all over the world, Bitcoiners, freedom lovers, wanted to just zap some funds over to this cause, someone like Pat could take it and run with it.
Well, you could do a multi-sig wallet too.
We did this yesterday. We were talking about it.
And
yeah. So again, I don't want to muddy the waters, and right now, guys like him are like at the forefront of this movement. So it's better to just kind of let him be. But I definitely think there's some you know, space for us to innovate and help and serve. Kyle, you want to bring us home though, because I think this one's, like I said, I wouldn't mind bringing this one to close. Anything you want to just sum up or share in parting? I thought it was an amazing session, and Amina, thank you for bringing your energy and just it's just been perfect.
Yeah,
I got to like the teary level a few times. That camera shutting off was not technical. That was actually me killing it for a few seconds. I'm like, well, I don't, you know.
No, well, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on. I mean, we were continuing on from yesterday's show, so it was great to do this, and I'm sure this is going to continue.
Let's keep going with it. Let's keep going with it.
And I think it's like super important too that, you know, we're doing these publicly and like, you know, and sharing, because this is broadcast. This is like the new public broadcasting system, and, you know, anybody has the capability to do this. We're using Restream. You know, it's I think there's a pro model to, like, you know, be the producer, but, you know, to join on to the show doesn't cost anything. You can connect all your channels and be able to share across various channels. You know, and this is a way that, you know, we can start like sharing actual points of view, as opposed to, like, you know, the mainstream, like, you know, relying on the mainstream narrative to paint the picture of reality, because I think that, like, you know, our discussion here is a lot different, and, you know, and it's open and it's heartful, versus, you know, the media, which, you know, like mentioned earlier, they want to catch you. They're looking for the sound. They're looking for the quick clips, and you know, you'll see, like, you know, for Pat, for example, like there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of people talking shit about him, but like, you know, make up be your own judge. Listen to that man. Like, you know, he's it's the real deal. You
Yeah,
know,
he
and
brings a
this,
definitely like I think I love like the fact that he brings a new perspective, but also he's super courageous, and you know you get the sense that like you know
He's
you just want to
fearless.
rally behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fearless, or he's willing to face the fear. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I
exactly.
think most people, you know. Okay, Kyle, like I said, let's bring this one to a close. If you guys want to even reconvene in an hour, 2 hours, I'm game. But for now, I'm
Right.
gonna kill this. Amina, you're always welcome to be a co-host with us on this show. You're great. Okay,
Thank you.
and
You're
thank you
awesome.
everyone
Thank
for
you.
listening. Oh my God, all the people, like literally, this was amazing.
Love
Thank
you
you so
all.
much. Yeah, nothing but love and freedom.
Freedom.
Baby,
All
yeah,
right.
baby.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so
Take
much,
care, guys.
Sunny.
Cheers. That
Thank
was
you,
a
Amina. Thank you,
wow.
Pat.
Thanks, Kyle.